Good morning, Jacobs and Jets. I am so sorry that I did not do a video last week. I was just kind of going crazy trying to get all that Google Classroom stuff meets going, and I think it went pretty well. I loved seeing so many of you, and there's many of you I haven't seen yet, so I hope that you will give me an email and sign up to join us this week on Thursday or Friday. I'll be sending out another email that's going to be with this video. All right, so I have a new idiom this week. I'm hoping that it's new, I'm thinking, and it's called butterflies in the stomach. Now, this is an example sentence. I always get butterflies in my stomach before a big game. Now, does that really mean that there's actual butterflies going in your stomach? No, it does not. It means a nervous, fluttery feeling in the stomach. So it's kind of when you're nervous or you're just not sure about something, you get butterflies in your stomach. So Mrs.Christ last week when she was doing our Google Meets for the first time, I definitely had butterflies in my stomach because I was nervous. It was something new that I hadn't done before. So that was a time that I had butterflies in my stomach. Let's see, this week. Eyes bigger than your stomach. Say that with me. Eyes bigger than your stomach. And what does that mean again? If you want something that more food than you really can eat. All right. Remember this idiom? Hit the books. Doesn't mean you're really hitting the books. It means that you are studying really hard. Everybody say this idiom with me. Hit the books. All right. Here's another one, a fun one. Turn the house upside down. Does it really mean that you're turning the house upside down? Nope. It means that you are search everywhere. You search everywhere around that house for something that you're missing. So everybody say this idiom with me. Turn the house upside down. And then we have, in hot water. Hopefully not too many people are in hot water this week. And what does it mean? It means you're in trouble. So everybody, let's say this one together. Ready? Say it with me. In hot water. All right. And then we're back to our butterflies in the stomach. Ready? Say this one with me. We didn't say it together. Say it. Butterflies in the stomach. Oh, so here's some good idioms for you to be thinking about trying to use this week. Now, I thought it would be really fun since you guys really, really, really love Dr. Seuss. I think everybody does. I had this really great book, and it's called Dr. Seuss, We Love You. And it's a book all about Dr. Seuss. There's things in this book that I didn't even know about Dr. Seuss. So let's take a look. It says, let me move my thing around. There we go. It says, Theodore Giesel made some marks on his school book. He looked at his book. He could not help smiling. He had drawn some funny people and animals. Theodore loved to draw on his books. He thought of animals that no one had ever seen. He practiced drawing them on his books, and they made him happy. I hope they mean that he wrote them on his notebooks, not his reading books. He's going to get in trouble for that. Theodore Giesel's drawings and stories, let's get that in the picture, there we go, make people happy. Now when he writes and draws, he uses another name. He uses the name Dr. Seuss. And here's a drawing of what he looks like. Theodore Seuss Giesel was born in Springfield, Massachusetts on March 2nd, 1904. He had a sister named Margareta. So there he is when he was very little. Theodore graduated from high school in Springfield. Then he went to Dartmouth College in Hanover, New Hampshire. He wrote and drew cartoons for the college magazine. In 1925, he went to Oxford University in England. He met Helen Palmer while he was there. Theodore did not stay at Oxford. Instead, he traveled in Europe. Theodore and Helen married in 1927. When they came back to the United States, Theodore drew cartoons. He sold them to magazines. Then he did artwork for advertisement. So, wow, Theodore Geisel, or Dr. Seuss, was really more of an artist than even a writer. Theodore decided he wanted to write and illustrate children's books. The first chapter he wrote and illustrated was an alphabet book. No one published it. He did not write another book for 4 years. Do you think he kind of gotten discouraged? He didn't feel like he should write anymore if nobody wanted to buy it? Have you ever felt that way? When you do something and you think, nobody seemed to like that. I don't think that was I don't think I want to do that again. But obviously he went back and did it again because he writes wonderful books. In 1936, Theodore went to Europe again. On the way back, he sat on the deck of the ship. The ship's engines seemed to be talking to him. Ta-da, 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 sang the engines. Theodore listened. Ta-da, ta-da, ta-da. Slowly, the words to a story came to Theodore's mind. They fit the sounds the engines were making. The story told what a little boy saw on Mulberry Street. At first, all the boy saw was a horse and a wagon. The more and more things came to his mind, funny things like a reindeer pulling a sleigh. An elephant pulling a band came into view. Police began to lead them. The mayor cheered them. Finally, an airplane flew over and dropped bright bits of paper. More and more people joined the parade, but all the little boy had really seen on Mulberry Street was a plain horse and a wagon. Theodore wrote down the words to this story. He made bright pictures to go with it. He named the story, And to Think That I Saw It on Mulberry Street. The book was published and was a big success. Almost 50 years later, it's still one of the most cherished favorite books. So I think you need to go find that book. I Think That I Saw It on Mulberry Street, and the ABC book, because those were his first books. That was Dr. Seuss's first published book. Theodore had decided to use that name when he wrote for children. Seuss was his mother's last name before he was married. Theodore was not really a doctor. In 1939, he wrote another book by Dr. Seuss, published. It was called The King's Stilts. Since then, many more books by Dr. Seuss has been published. Wow, I haven't heard about that one. During World War II, Theodore was in the army. He wrote for his country. He did not use the name Dr. Seuss then. One film he wrote won an Academy Award in 1949. He won other awards for his films too. Wow. So not only was he an artist and an illustrator and a writer or an author, he also wrote films. Wow. In 1948, Helen and Theodore moved to a lovely house on the top of a mountain in La Jolla, California. They could see the ocean from their home. Theodore liked to look at the ocean while he wrote. After the war, Theodore went back to being Dr. Seuss. He wrote and illustrated many stories. Most of his books are written in verse, like a poem. Some of Dr. Seuss's books teach a lesson. In Yertle the Turtle, Dr. Seuss says that everyone should be free. In Gertrude McFuzz, he is saying that we all should be happy with what we have. In Horton Hears a Who, he says that even the smallest person can help. His stories are filled with strange animals and people. Readers never know what they will see next. It might be a strudel or a twiddler. It might be a uke or a zook. It might even be a zinazoo bird or a tizzle-topped grouse. In 1957, The Cat in the Hat was published. It was the book for first grade readers. Dr. Seuss knew that the boys and girls would like reading if they had books that were fun to read. Theodore and Helen started beginner books in 1958. Beginner books are easy to read. The books are also fun to read. Dr. Seuss writes some of these books. When he does not draw the pictures himself, he uses the name Theo Lesage. Lesage is Giesel spelled backwards. Look at that. Lesige. Other people also write and illustrate beginner books. Helen Giesel died in 1967. Theodore married Audrey Diamond the next year. They still lived on the mountain where they can see the ocean, and Dr. Seuss was writing stories for boys and girls still. Unfortunately, I wrote in here that Dr. Seuss died in 1991. In 1986, Dr. Seuss wrote a different kind of book. It's not for boys and girls. It's not even for their parents. It's for their grandparents. And it's called You're Only Old Once. Now older people have their very own Dr. Seuss book. Theodore Giesel had a goal. He wanted to write books that were easy to read. He also wanted to make reading fun. He reached his goal. Everyone has fun reading a Dr. Seuss book. Isn't it nice to know that you will never be too old to read a Dr. Seuss book? Isn't that a wonderful story about Dr. Seuss? Or, remember, we also called him, if he didn't write the pictures himself. He wrote the story, but he didn't draw the pictures himself. He would write it Theo Lesage. Oh, amazing, amazing. So, I hope you enjoyed my book about the real Dr. Seuss and learned a little bit about him. I thought he was really great. So, I wanted to say I hope you're going to enjoy this week. It's a little bit cooler here in Arizona. And this is a great time to go for a bike ride, go swimming, go for a walk. And I will see many of you in the Google Meets classroom on Thursday or Friday. All right? Here's my goodbye. Toodaloo, kangaroo. Can you say it with me? Toodaloo, kangaroo. See you later, guys. Bye.